This video is about rape, the ideal woman, and submission. We live in a society that is so pitifully racist in a way that favors whites, Jews, and Asians, and tries to put every race above black people, that they couldn't even perceive or begin to understand the idea of an African top martial artist and why he must be black African. Okay. And because it's so racist, I had to say it that way, in a way that you couldn't possibly miss that profound truth, in a way that might hurt their immature feelings. Maturity, truth, assessment, and recommendation. Right? They can't conquer their dicks. That's where the word assessment begins with ass. And of course, the Western cultural foundation is an LGBT foundation. Just look at Greece as the civilizer of humanity, a bunch of gays and lesbos and lesbians and so on and so forth. Anyway, this sort of condensed statement should make it clear to you why I'm right. In humans, perception isn't a matter of perspective. It is a matter of maturity. On the highest level of maturity is the pure masculine spirit, Sun Temple, confront evil with pure truth martial artist. He is sabotaged by less mature people and made to seem crazy, gayish and immature to the blind. Truly, wisdom can only be born from maturity. So again, this video is about rape, the ideal woman, and submission. Think of it in terms of what you can picture, because most of you, if not all of you, are so racist, whether you want to admit it to yourself or not, you can't picture me given my rightful place and the type of woman who would be smart enough, regardless of the circumstances, to submit to me. So think of it in terms of the pure yellow, right? The pure sun spirit, pure truth, samurai's king. He's not a samurai who's obedient to a master who is trying to make his family look good, but he is a samurai who's only obedient to the spirit of righteousness, truth, true love, and so on. Okay. So his wife, right? Now, that's a point of reference. His wife is utterly submissive, and why? Because he is a righteous man, right? It is wrong to insist that you have an equal standing, right? You're in an equal position with someone who is far more righteous than you are. It is wrong. People understand that it's wrong for the new soldier to insist that he's in charge to the general. Okay, is this idea, this concept by itself? They know it's wrong. Okay, how come they can't see a more obvious level of pure righteousness versus some rebellious harlot? Not only they can't see that samurai's wife should be submissive to me, they can't see that some satanic feminist with a shirt that says satanic feminist with a cake face and an evil look should not be given an equal say in society as I am. And that's how crazy people are. Think about how insane that is for a moment. Go ahead and work the angles. Pause and work the angles if you disagree. Write it down on a piece of paper. Think about how fucking crazy it is and how stupid it is that you didn't see it that way the first time. And what was stopping you, right? Certainly, racism, yours and society's, was a part of it, if you didn't see it that way before. So number one, what is the difference between the samurai's wife and some goofy fucking common slut? Okay, the samurai's wife, in her truest form, is extremely insightful, right? She's a suitable helper for someone with martial arts insight on a very profound level, versus some pinky-faced, goofy female, right? In a sense, the dumb female is always raped when she has sex. Okay? She's always raped. Think about the example of a retarded woman. Okay? Can you have sex with a retarded female who's completely out of touch with reality without raping her? It's just a spectrum. In a sense, if they don't understand why I'm right and submit, you can't have sex with them without raping them. They're too stupid. Their fear has made them too unwise, if not too stupid, for them to have true prosent, right? She was trained to live in reality, and she sent versus consent, right? Senses, right? And who sent her, right? Trained by the con man to live a lie, to be raped by those who are more evil, who have established themselves in a corrupt, Babylonian, evil society. Propaganda construct, rape by illusion based society. At the heart of this society is eugenics. Rape using misdirection, confusion, distraction, subtle coercion, and other methods of illusion-related trickster scum. And number two, Wonder Woman, right? She's a silly-faced woman, right? She's a silly, or I've seen her as an evil, kind of satanic feminist-faced woman. Compare her face when she's has a more mean face to a satanic feminist. Hey, they even used a female from the IDF for her role in the movie, right? While they're abusing Palestinians left and right, probably raping little kids, who knows? So Wonder Woman is an empowered, foolish female, right? This is sad. They are mocking heroes in a sense, especially when they don't, especially when you consider who they date and who they shun. So when you look at this, right, why is this being done? Well, look at the comics, right? Who made the comics and why? This particular group of people that is kind of martial arts challenged, right? Physically challenged, right? In terms of martial arts prowess, right? You know, in terms of true sparring, you know, martial arts prowess, right? They're the ones who made the comics, a bunch of goofy, kind of Greco-Roman, kind of soft-faced, kind of pinky-faced comic book heroes in tights, right? Showing off their butts just as much as the female characters, right? What does that tell you? It's the reason why they have scenes in the movies where the man, right, shows off his butt in a love scene. Why? Right? Because there's a bunch of LGBT people in Hollywood. I'm pretty sure we can all agree on that. You know, who wouldn't see it that way and why? You know, it's crazy, right? Not to see it that way. So, three, this is a particular powerful group, right, who uses a sort of beta identity. When you think about who this group of people is, right, they have defined their group as a beta identity and given you some of the most influential religions in the world, three in particular. They seek for people to see them in terms of a provider identity. They think of the alpha in terms of a provider because they are rich betas. Okay? And the people who are related to them, who kind of blend in society, are not challenging the alpha European identity propaganda scale. Think about Tarzan and Harry Potter and Captain America and Superman. Write these things down if you don't get what I'm getting at. Think about the ways they prove my point. Number four, blacks are called the most hyper-masculine people. And masculinity is presented in a way that if someone is too masculine, they cannot control themselves. Well, obviously, if you're a martial artist, the more masculine you are, the more effectively you can control yourself, the more effectively you can convey your point, the more effectively you can strike, the more courageous you are, the more qualities that are truly the qualities of a superior person you can embody. In order for a woman to treat this person fairly without preying on them, they have to be submissive. If you are a top martial artist who's a hyper-masculine, pure sun temple, pure masculine spirit, pure confront evil spirit type of person, okay, how can a woman relate to you unless she submits? You know, I should be in charge. If I give you some charge, you are stealing righteousness away from us. So who is reinvented more than the hyper-masculine black man in a Western society, whether he rolls with the left, the right, or the middle? They're all saying, take an inferior position in society than you would naturally have if you are a martial artist, that is. Okay? And, you know, some people say, help us blur the line between man and woman. Right? But he can't do that without reinventing himself. Okay? Other places that say help emphasize the kind of truck driving, you know, white Western conception of masculinity. Right? He can't do that without reinventing himself. Because he is a walking proof that their form of masculinity is inferior and is derived from ill-gotten gains and technology, which ironically comes from the more female brain. Right? How many gays invented things? How many effeminate things? How many less masculine types of people? You know, scientists, Einstein, right? Would you describe him as hyper-masculine? No. How many less masculine people invented the technology that they use to suppress people in an evil way and even call them names? That's why the N-word means ignorant, right? It's also a play on words for no gear. And give them new gear that makes them inferior to us. And if he dare fights against us, he will lose. So reinventing him is done in order to rape him and to get him to do sexual things he wouldn't otherwise do. Think about the gang members that go to prison, right? They're reinvented there through rape, right? And they continue to let themselves be a prison bitch because they've been reinvented so they can continue to rape them. Just because the person's been coerced into a state of mind where he accepts being gay doesn't mean it's not a form of continually raping them. Go ahead, work the angles on that one as well. Number 5, right? So the first point was extremely insightful versus Pinky Goofy. Second point was Wonder Woman is an powerful, foolish female. Third point was this particular group of people that has taken on a beta provider and identity and has tried to bring everyone down with them while not challenging the white Western conceptions of masculinity. Point number 4 was hyper masculine black people. Point number 5 is the grass is greener effect. Why are people complicit? Because they believe that the grass, they're taught to believe that the grass is greener if they play a role in the game, which is a play on words for gay me. I'm not saying every gay person is bad, but when you play the LGBT historical Greco-Roman rape cult game, how could that be good? So being friends with a gay person, neither here nor there. Playing the LGBT Greco-Roman rape cult foundation of Western society game, the Zeus rape Ganymede pedophile game, the Zeus and Neptune and Hades go around kidnapping and raping women game, obviously it's evil. And people are identifying themselves, reinventing themselves as an evil person in this game. So I'm running out of time. Anyway, point 6 is corporate intelligence. Okay, females actually have more of a corporate intelligence brain. It is only when it comes to this masculine kind of demanding respect do they have trouble with leadership. But in a more and more gender-neutral society, especially in liberal places, the female has more and more of the upper hand as time goes on. You know, in certain Igbo cultures, they were pronounced in trade and agriculture, okay, and motherhood. So, you know, in a lot of other cultures, some Native American cultures as well, they're in charge of trade. So to me, you know, being a provider isn't so much my concern. You know, being a protector with the true martial arts spirit, focusing on the spirit of God is what I care about in terms of masculinity and what a good woman is going to care about in terms of choosing a man. I don't want the woman who doesn't prioritize this type of man. Anyway, so they have less variable brains. They're more like each other. You know, in a society where it demands uniformity, perhaps this is positive. You know, in this society, if that's what you're trying to do. So they have more white matter in their brain for multitasking. This is why the secretary is good and the chief financial officer and these other white-collar positions, right, are done perhaps better by a woman than a man. So there are certain neurochemicals in their brain that allow them to sit still, and this gives them the edge in school and some white-collar work, okay? But this also makes them more susceptible to rape because they're more predictable. The less variable brain means that they're more predictable. They don't have the gray matter with the focus task. They have an inferior hippocampus, amygdala, striatum, thalamus, right, in terms of martial arts kind of brain function. Okay, this is why they say hit like a girl. They swing the bat a certain way, right? It's less focused. They don't pinpoint what's going on. They generally get what's going on. And the men see where they don't get it and they work from there and they take advantage of them. Okay. So they've been bred, people have been bred to have, you know, other than me, and that's a long story why that is. See key reasons why I'm the top martial arts playlist. Anyway, they've been bred to have a peasant, thief, and white-collar brain mixed together, right? Females have learned to feel affection and attachment for these types and an appalling lack of valuing the true hero due to psychology, regardless of the hero ideas given to them in the movies. The Western twist perhaps helps confuse them. A true woman prioritizes the higher principles of righteousness, not family, flesh, or providing, right? But principles. They're willing to sacrifice for these principles. Okay, so what God has set aside for his natural ruling class, okay, and connecting to falling short of righteousness after I'm gone, right, that them understanding this is also connected to the long-term scientific cheating of my bloodline, you know, cheating people from my bloodline. Well, I'm almost out of time here. So let's just fucking, you know, I'm going to have to make a part 2. This is annoying.